Well, we'll see if I can do this from notes now, because I've been doing it on Zoom so long. That's a whole different setup, right? Now I've got to go back to actual notes and speaking notes. First of all, thank you, Trina, for the introduction. I'm just a regular person, just like all of us. We're women trying to make a difference. We might have titles, we might have honors from being in different committees, but everything you join, you learn something new along your path. And all those pieces put together make us stronger individuals to be able to make the decisions that we're all tasked to do. Because that's what we do. We have conversations, we look at issues, we try to look back and forth to see what works best for our communities. And what works for my community may not work for your community. And that's the beauty of having different councils to work together. And at FCM, we do that for the entire country. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve in this position as a small town mayor. So with that, hello everyone. I feel very lucky that one of my very first in-person events as FCM president, I've been president since June, gives me the opportunity to join you, fellow women leaders, in such a timely discussion for this theme: connect, communicate, and succeed. The first two are instrumental to the third. That's why FCM is so pleased to work alongside MNL and with each of you to help you succeed in your role. We know through research and lived experience, I can tell you about lived experience. If you want to have some good stories, talk to me later. And how to succeed in your role. The women are bearing very heavy loads, at least through this pandemic. We can prove that. Be it economic, or an increase in domestic violence, or increased childcare and elder care responsibilities, or in increased vulnerabilities in the job market. 20 months into this pandemic, and these burdens remain. With municipal elections in many provinces this year, there's been real concern over what this would mean for so many talented women, councillors and mayors. Add in the alarming increase of online harassment of public officials, and it could have been too much. Fortunately, what we're seeing play out is the exact opposite. Across Canada, not only are women stepping forward as candidates, they're winning their seats. From historic increases in women's representation in Nova Scotia to the first female mayor of Calgary. Here in Newfoundland, Labrador, we've seen 6% increase in women's representation. That's very significant, and if we keep that up, we've seen the first openly trans representative, and we've seen continued growth and focus on diversity. These are remarkable wins for our communities and for our country. FCM is proud to be working to increase women's participation in local leadership. Last year's launch of the Toward Parity Framework and Knowledge Hub focused on sharing tools and best practices to support more women to run and thrive. I understand that MNL will likely have a new resource for us to add with the upcoming resolution on childcare supports, which will be brought forward later this week. These sorts of tangible supports are critical to enabling more women and families to participate fully in politics. Earlier this year, I had the pleasure of launching FCM's brand new project, Canadian Women in Local Leadership, also known as CanWill. I encourage you to go to the FCM website and read all about it. It's so exciting. This project aims to support new and emerging leaders to run for elected office. And it tackles key issues like online harassment, promoting respect in democracy, and reducing the barriers for women and gender diverse people, particularly those who are Indigenous, Black or racialized, young, or members of LGBTQ+ communities. Working alongside equity-seeking groups and with our provincial association partners, we are responding to unique and varied needs of all communities, including small communities. One local example that we look forward to sharing is MNL's Make Your Mark campaign. This has certainly set the tone here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I'm so grateful to be among you. Communities benefit so much when there's diverse political representation at the local, provincial, and federal level. Your voices are essential now more than ever, and as we plan and implement a post-COVID recovery. I know it's hard to serve your community when you're stretched at home, personally and professionally. I hear you, I see you, and FCM, we're here for you. We've got your back. We look ahead to Canada's post-COVID recovery. Won't it be nice when we never have to say COVID again? That would be awesome. FCM will continue to advocate for, one, new federal funding to continue our work on gender equity in Canada and abroad. Can't forget our sisters across the pond and around the world. With a focus on ensuring municipalities have the tools to become more equitable. A national pandemic recovery that has inclusion at its core, meaning better support for affordable housing, public transit, rural broadband, so that everyone can participate in the future that we build together. FCM will continue to support women of all ages, identities, and backgrounds to run, win, and lead in their communities, and to fully participate in municipal politics. That means ensuring women's voices and interests are reflected, and in the decision-making around the pandemic and around Canada's recovery. Local governments are uniquely placed to bring women to the table and ensure the inclusion of a broad range of stakeholders. It means making the connection between gender equity and the broader outcomes. It's not just good enough to enter. We need to have some outcomes at the end. We don't want to just be bums in chairs. We want to have a voice, and that means seeking to make those incredible outcomes in our community and as we seek in our society. It's time to be ambitious about showing how gender equity is integral to solutions around health, climate, the economy, and fundamental human rights. And it means working together to achieve our goals. Partnering with all relevant stakeholders, including our most vulnerable groups, with local governments reaching out at the community level. Canada is stronger when everyone is able to participate in our social and economic life. That's the future we must build on the other side of this pandemic. Our recovery needs to be a full recovery for all. FCM supports the full participation of women in all aspects of public and political life. We're eager to work with each of you. All of you make that a reality. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your time. It has just been a pleasure for me to come. And I'm going to go off script just a hair. When I was listening to the minister, mentorship, if you ever have the opportunity to mentor a young woman, you can learn so much from these ambitious, articulate, amazing young women that you can share with them what they need from you. Take that opportunity. Code of conduct. The fact that we as adults even have to have a code of conduct, seriously? And yet, it is something that we need to do. Last Saturday, I was home and I did the stomp in the kitchen. I was listening to CBC and they were talking about the 3 top political women in federal politics after the election and all that. And I thought, the fact that you're even wasting airtime talking that it was women. If it was men, they wouldn't even have the conversation. We have to start talking about people as people and not start dividing. The more united we can be to say we have powerful leaders, and the minister said that, we have powerful leaders. Together, we need to make that difference, and together we are just by being here. So give yourselves a round of applause for what you do. I can clean too. I'm a mom and a grandma and a great-grandmother, so here we go.